everyone, I'm Trey with the First Date Fix, and today we're going to be talking about why you're single part 3. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, before you get upset with me, I want to go through a few disclaimers. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm merely suggesting a few reasons as to why you might be single and some things you could consider. I'm merely trying to help, and I'm trying to be that objective, unfiltered voice of reason that your friends and family just won't give you because they love you and they care for you. This is a good thing. However, you can look to me to keep it real and give you the real advice. Let's crack into it, shall we? Number 1, if someone goes out of their way to ask you out on a date and you can't do that time because you're busy and you have plans, not suggesting a different time. If they've already put themselves out there and asked you out on a date and you don't suggest a different time, by default, they immediately assume that you're not interested. And you might think to yourself, well, why would they assume? Because they don't know you. They don't know who you are. You could have an abundance of other people in their DM and they don't want to waste their time on someone who's on the fence. Number 2, not giving a thank you text. Now, I know where you're coming from. A lot of people like to wait for the other person to give the thank you for a great first date text to see if they can gauge if they're really interested and to see if they should have a second date. But guess what? The other person is thinking the exact same thing. She is waiting for you to send a thank you text. You are waiting for her to send a thank you text. None of you send one. You're both interested and you both end up not seeing each other ever again. This is not a romance, okay? This is not how The Notebook started and ended. Well, she actually ended up getting dementia, but the whole film was good. Who cares about who's the first one to send the thank you text? Just do it. A man or woman's biggest regret will always be what could have been as opposed to what has already come before. Asking questions. It really is that simple. I have had so many different text threads that have essentially died because one person isn't really asking questions. Now, sure, it's nice for someone to stroke our ego and ask us about our friends and our family and what we like to do in our spare time, right? But at the end of the day, if it's one-sided, eventually the person's going to think you're really not that interested and they're gonna stop texting you back. If someone asks you a question, guess what? You ask one back. It is not rocket science. Or furthermore, if you're on a date and someone keeps asking you questions, you need to flip the script and give them a chance to talk about themselves. Furthermore, if I ask someone a question and I say, oh, I noticed in one of your pictures, you had 2 pictures of you going to the gym. That's something that you really like? Yeah, I actually like it a lot. I usually go 5 days a week. Okay, great. No, don't say, okay, great. Say, that's awesome. What inspires you to go 5 days a week? Like, what is it that you like about going to the gym? Is there a particular exercise that you're working on? What kind of progress have you experienced? You build upon one question. One question should have an abundance of layers and roots that you can kind of ground into a different kind of conversation. You might be single because you're not making an effort with your outfits. And I know what you might be thinking, Trey, if I'm going to a coffee shop, if I'm going for a walk in the park, if I'm going just for some drinks at a local bar, I'm not going to go all out. I'm not going to wear a cocktail dress. Listen, any kind of place you go to, even if you are dressing up in athletic wear, you can make your best effort. You can wear your best clothes. All you must do is you can go on Pinterest, you can go on Cosmopolitan, you can go on Men's Health, you can go on GQ. It's very, very simple. Please make an effort with your appearance. I'm not asking for a lot. You know who you are when you wear those gross ass cargo shorts and flip-flops to a date. You ain't going to no beach. You're single because you keep talking to people you're on the fence about. You know, the first house I bought, I said to myself, I will never buy a house unless I'm a 10. Meaning I'm not gonna spend 350 grand plus on a house if I feel like I'm on the fence, right? And if you are truly looking for a lifelong partner, why would you entertain and have conversations with people who you're on the fence about? They could be cool. Unless you are generally thinking, you know what? I'm all in with this person, okay? No matter what, don't even bother. it might be a waste of time, or only really entertain people where you have engaging conversations and you feel like after 1 to 3 dates, this could be something. If you're single because you have some unnecessary dating bias, okay? I'll give you an example. Status. You're not going to date the local carpenter. You're not going to date the local electrician or a postman or some man who works at McDonald's. These men or women could be some of the most incredible people that you're ever going to meet. But because of your socioeconomic bias, you don't even want to give them a chance. What's more important to you? And hey, if financial fortitude is more important to you, then, date the rich man or woman. That's fine. But ultimately, if you keep ignoring a whole demographic of people you could be suitable with, that could be another reason why you're single. Another piece of dating bias is race. I know what you might be thinking, Trey, I prefer to date my own race, blah, 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 blah. I want my kids to look like me, right? And that is totally fine. But the reality is, in the age of information, most people from different racial backgrounds really aren't that dissimilar. I'll give an example. If you have a black woman who was born in San Diego and you have a Caucasian man who was born in San Diego, the exact same neighborhood, the exact same high school, same kind of graduate degree, same kind of job, both in the field of, let's say, being a lawyer, race really won't play that much of an issue. Yeah, sure, there might be some intricacies that one might have to learn about the other, but after 6 months to a year of doing that, those things really aren't an issue. So what I'm saying is, you have every right to want to date inside your race, but what I am saying is that, again, there are a plethora more opportunities outside of people who look exactly like you. We're in 2021, we shouldn't be that myopic with our views on dating. But again, if you have that view, more power to you. I'm just giving you another option. You're single because you don't really know the value of a relationship. I constantly hear this all the time. I'm never going to settle. I don't really want this. I need to work on my career. I need to work on, people make all the excuses in the world as to why they don't want to be in a relationship. A relationship's value can never be measured, but there is so much value from experiencing life with someone else, from learning from each other, from realizing that sometimes you're not always right, that you're not perfect, and in order to thrive in this world, you need to work on your own individual skills to make it work with someone. Learn about the value of a relationship, read about it more. It's far more than reality television and the movies told you. You're single because for some strange reason you feel like you have all the time in the world. Let me tell you something. Life is short. Life is very fleeting. And a lot of people seem to have this map or roadmap. I'm gonna have my fun and then I'll find a relationship. I'm gonna have my fun and then I'll settle down with someone. But you're looking at it wrong. When you're with the person you truly love, you're not settling, you're only beginning. And if you keep pushing away opportunities for unnecessary, stupid, vain reasons, then what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself one day, years, maybe even half a decade past your goal of finding someone, and you're going to wonder, what happened? What opportunities did I miss? Trust me, you might think you have all the time in the world, but one day it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. Yeah, and then you may or may not come to me for advice. So this is a win-win for me. But I generally care about you. I don't want you to have to come to me for advice. I want you to put all the supposed dating coaches and experts out of business. By the way, I'm not an expert, never have claimed to be, but I am a person who wants to help you find the person that you deserve to be with. You're single because you've never even dated your type. I hear so many people. In fact, I have friends who, whenever we're having dinner or drinks or whatever, they say, oh yeah, that's my type. And I'm like, hold on. I've never seen you date that kind of woman a day in your life. What are you talking about? Oh, well, that's just my type, man. That's what I'm attracted to. Well, I know that's what you're attracted to, but that's not who you've dated in the last 8 years. So what's up? What's going on? And it's just like, you keep saying that these people are your type, but you've never really dated them. And then finally, when someone gets into a situation where they date their type, they realize, guess what? They're not their type. So start looking for things outside of your type, just like I said previously, and start expanding and throwing a wider net on your dating capabilities. You're single because you have zero responsibility on your actions and behaviors. Unfortunately, this is something that I have a large amount of experience with. But when you start taking responsibility for the way you treat people, for the way you communicate with people, for the way you conduct yourself in any dating scenario, that's when you really start to see things change, because you realize that individually there are so many things that you need to work on, and then people start seeing that change in you and you become sought after because you take responsibility for every kind of interaction that you have in any kind of dating scenario. And that is the definition of true inner power, when you are able to make sure that anything from your end is the best it can be, and you're not worrying about what he or she's done in the past, present, or future. You're worried and taking responsibility about how you treat people. You're single because you're kind of bitter. I'm sorry, I am. I'm not trying to throw shade at you, but you're a hater, okay? Not all of you who are watching this, but some of you, you're kind of haters, man. Like when you see people that are acquaintances on Instagram and happy relationships, you low-key hate. When you see celebrities who are happy, you low-key hate. You are bitter. Stop being bitter. Start being happy for people who are happy. Start being happy for people who are in relationships that you maybe don't understand, but you're happy that they found someone. When you start being happy for everyone around you who are in nice monogamous relationships, even people you don't know, watch the difference that it has in your life, the way you're perceived, and the way you interact with people. You're single because you are breaking up over BS, over arbitrary, stupid things. I hear it all the time. It shouldn't be this hard. Man, there isn't a relationship that isn't hard. And what I mean by that is not every waking minute you're with the person, oh, this is hard. Why is this so hard? Why? It's not like that at all. But what I am saying is no one's perfect, okay? You're both from, even people who are from similar backgrounds still have issues, because you are both human beings. And most importantly, if it truly is a healthy relationship, you are both individuals. So when you both come into any situation as individuals, there are so many things that you have to work out. There are people who have been married for 20 plus years, and you might look at them and be like, wow, perfect. But they still to this day have things that they need to work out between each other. No relationship is perfect. And for the most part, if they have 80% of everything that you want and you love their company, it's worth working through. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if you felt like there are one or two things that you really enjoyed watching or hearing, feel free to give me a follow or like. I will not hold it against you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.